25th, 2024. Pam, can you please take attendance?
Sure. Michael Gore,
Here.
Robert Romer,
Here.
Michael Lau,
Here.
James Barr,
Here.
and it looks like Eric Nyland and Austin Groner are absent.
Okay, first item on the agenda tonight is a public shade tree hearing um, by National Grid for trees on Still River Road and Main Street. Mark, do you want to?
It looks like we have two scheduled for 7 p.m. I was under the impression that the DPW one was scheduled for 7, and that then we had one at 7:10, and then the National Grid was going to be last.
Okay, oh, Randy, if you want to talk about
It's
the
not.
7.
Sure, doesn't matter. On the agenda, it did say 7:10, so it really, one way or the other, doesn't matter. There was a gentleman from Ty and Bond was going to.
No, we can't. If we
Right.
advertise for 7:10, we can't go.
So who is the 7 o'clock hearing, the
7
tree
o'clock
hearing?
is the National Grid. It's
I'm
first on the
looking at
agenda.
I'm looking at the other one for the the DPW one is also listed at 7 p.m.
On the agenda, there's 7 for National Grid.
on
I see 7 o'clock, National Grid, Still River Road removal of 16 trees, Main Street removal of 2 trees. That is the 7 o'clock agenda item.
Yeah,
Okay, that's on your agenda, or I'm looking at the joint public hearing notice, which has it advertised for 7 p.m. for the DPW sponsored one, and then it also lists the National Grid one at 7 p.m.
yeah, I posted them on the agenda at 7 for National Grid first.
Okay.
Is National Grid on? I see a comment from National Grid. Cannot hear audio. Is that? I can hear everyone else. Sorry, who's this? Joseph King? Is he? Joseph, can you still not hear us? You are muted if you want to speak.
Well, I've looked at these trees with National Grid. There's a long list of trees. These are the ones that we felt that needed to be posted. The other ones are either dead or that we didn't need to post. These trees are outside of the jurisdiction of the planning board, but we wanted to piggyback the meeting and also want the planning board to know kind of what's going on. The 18 trees all have some sort of structural issue. You can see in the right column of the defects. I agree with all of them. They are all either in severe decline, or there's base issues or rot. And so I don't have a real problem with any of those trees being removed, and they're all within the town right away, all close to the edge of roadway. So,
And this
so
is more of
that's
a heads up sort of thing. This
well,
Still River is not a.
we still have to hold a public shade tree hearing, but because that road's not a scenic road, it doesn't necessarily fall under the jurisdiction of the planning board. But because of the Zoom meetings and all that, we hoped to just piggyback for these 18 trees. You can see now that they're already looking at number 7, which is a red maple in decline. You can see the right leader is all rotted out of it. I think these like I said, every single one of these trees, I concur with the issues. But because because of the shade tree hearing, we just had to post them. So number 10, internal decay and top failure. That was the one we just saw. can see the decay in the crotch of the white pine there, and the bark sloughing off of it. So this is part of their hazard tree mediation plan. So there are actually 3 circuits in Bolton. 2 of them are going to be worked on. I've met with the other arborist that's doing the other circuit, which does include some scenic roads. We'll be seeing a list presented by them in the near future. A final list. So this was brought forth many months ago, and we've narrowed the list down to these 18. And like I said, we need to hold the public hearing for them. So
That sounds good to me. Did you say that you're going to wait to do these trees until you get a list of the other ones?
No. It was a much larger list, and we narrowed it down to these needed to be posted and have a public hearing for. We'll be looking at a much larger list in the near future. But these 18 trees are the ones that needed to be posted.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any issues with that. Does anyone else on the board have questions or comments? Anyone from the public have questions or comments?
Hello. Can you hear me?
There's
Yes, we
Ryan
can.
Krebs. Ryan.
Sorry, I was having problems getting into the meeting. It told me that there was already a meeting going at that link, and it wouldn't let me in. I had to keep coming out and coming back in until it let me in for some reason.
Ryan is the arborist for National Grid.
I see. Yeah, Ryan, is there anything you wanted to add? I mean, it seems straightforward to us. I looked at most of the trees.
There's nothing really for me to add. I mean, most of the trees were in pretty varying states of decline. A couple of the trees were rotting out at the base. My question for you guys would be, did you guys have any questions on the work that we were looking to propose as far as our work that we're looking to do?
You know when you're scheduling the work?
So work in town has already started. We've started on the private trees and some of the dead trees that Mr. Case had already said that we could start and do. They just started in town a couple of days ago down on Still River Road.
And I'm assuming that you're able to work around the power lines for all those trees, and this isn't a matter of you're cutting power to people while this work is happening.
All of our work is live, so yes.
Yeah. Okay. Nope, I don't think we had any other issues then. Pam, I don't think we need to vote on anything. This is just.
No, you don't. It's strictly under Mark's jurisdiction.
Okay.
So for Ryan, I do approve all 18 of these trees that we you brought forth the list, and continue to do a good job.
Okay. I can email you the permit, and if you're around tomorrow, I can come up and pick it up.
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Pam, anything else that we need on that particular hearing?
No.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is another joint public hearing between the tree warden and the planning board, and a scenic road public shade tree hearing for Still River Road. I'm sorry, for Bush Mill Road.
I just wanted to announce Eric Nyland, planning board member, is now present and able to participate in the hearing.
So these trees were identified to.
I'm sorry, I just need to read the public hearing
I'm sorry.
notice.
Yep.
In accordance with MGL Chapter 87, Public Shade Tree Law, Section 3, Cutting of Public Shade Trees, and MGL Chapter 40, Section 15C, Scenic Road, and Section 250-24 of the zoning bylaws, Scenic Road, the Town of Holden Tree Warden and Planning Board will hold a joint public hearing on September 25th at 7:10 p.m. via Zoom video communications regarding an application from the Town of Bolton for the proposed removal of 13 public shade trees required for the construction of a bridge on Forbush Mill Road over Still River. Trees proposed for removal include the following, and then there's a list of the trees that are proposed and were posted. Plans were available for review at Town Hall, 663 Main Street, between the hours of 9 to 2:30, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Tuesday, 9 to 4, and on the town's website, with the website listed. This public hearing will be conducted via Zoom remote participation pursuant, to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Login information is provided below and is posted to the town calendar on the homepage of Bolton's website. Okay, that's it.
Art, do you want to speak to this, or is this Randy?
Randy can speak about it. It was by petition of the DPW.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for holding the hearing this evening. Thanks to Mark for marking out all the trees. As you may be aware, culvert number 2 on Forbush Mill Road, which is the second culvert coming from 117, just before the entrance to the transfer station. We have to replace that culvert, and the removal of these trees. Hello, the removal of these trees.
I'm sorry, Randy. Sorry, whoever is Sander iPad Pro, can you please mute yourself, or Pam, mute them? Sorry, Randy. Go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. That's great. There's a number of trees that have to be removed to facilitate construction of the bridge. Eric Ohanian from Ty and Bond, the designer and engineer for this project, is also on, and welcome any questions the board may have.
Yeah, hi, thank you. So I looked at the trees. Randy, is this just another culvert, or are you actually making more of a permanent structure of a bridge there?
What it is the back in, I think, 2019, 20, in that time frame, there was a temporary culvert put in, which is the 36-inch diameter plastic and the 24-inch overflow. As part of the approval through the Conservation Commission, the town and the DPW was required to put in a permanent replacement for that. To meet the stream crossing standards, the crossing will now become a bridge. It's 16 feet wide, to be able to comply with the state stream crossing standards. Correct, Eric?
Yes, that's correct. And the town is in the process of being awarded grant money from FEMA at the support of MEMA at the state level to fund construction of this. And I believe there are also ARPA funds involved to fund construction oversight while this is planned for improvements.
So what we did do when we posted the trees, really only 7 of the trees fall within the town easement or the town right of way. But because it's town property on either side, Randy and I felt that it would be best to post all the trees so that everybody could have an idea of the total scope of the work.
Yeah, I went down and looked at these. Don't have any issue with them. I did raise the point to Pam, and I was kind of curious about it. As you're facing the trees on the right side, there's one tree that's not posted but is leaning, very sharply in. And I was curious if that tree would have any impact on any work that gets done there if it were to fall over, and would that be worth
The leaning one closest to the guardrail is, if you're looking at this picture, it is posted. That one there is posted.
There was a second one that I
Right, there's another
saw.
one more to the right of that that's leaning.
That one. Yep.
But that's leaning into the woods and
Okay,
is
so
outside
that
of,
wouldn't land where the
no, and
the
it's
new work has been
outside
done
of the
yet.
scope of the work.
Okay. Yep, that was the only question I had about those particular trees. Anyone else on the board have questions? Anyone from the public have questions? No, hearing none. I will make a motion to close the Scenic Road Public Shade Tree hearing for Forbush Mill Road.
Need a second?
Second.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
James Barr,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Eric Nyland,
Aye.
Michael Lau.
Aye.
The hearing's closed by a vote of 5-0.
And I'll make a motion to approve the removal of 13 public shade trees from the right of way of Forbush Mill Road.
Second.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
James Barr,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Eric Nyland,
Aye.
Michael Lau.
Aye.
What's he doing?
The tree removal is approved by a vote of 5-0.
What are you doing?
It was before too, but yes.
What are you
Okay,
doing?
thank you.
What subject?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
What
Thank you
subject?
very much.
Keeping with our tree theme for tonight, our next item of business is two items for South Bolton Road, map parcel 5C-23.4, Bolton Hill Estates. We will start with the Scenic Road Public Shade Tree hearing for the removal of 30 feet of stone wall and 4 public shade trees. Pam, do you just want to read the notice?
I'm just pulling it up. I had to get some of this stuff closed. So.
Do we have a representative from Bolton Hill Estates on the call?
I
This is David Jaime. I'm actually the attorney for the owner of the property. We do have an attorney representing us for this hearing, but for some reason John is not here. I think that may be having issues logging on, but we can't delay this on our end. So I'm happy to speak as much as I can help out.
I actually
Sure.
advertised them in one hearing notice, so I'll just read them both concurrently. In accordance with MGL Chapter 40A, Section 11, and the Town of Bolton zoning bylaws, Section 250, 17, the planning board will hold a public hearing on the application of Bolton Hill Estates LLC for a special permit to allow the construction of a common driveway servicing 4 single-family house lots. Concurrently, under Mass General Law, Chapter 87, Public Shade Tree, Section 3, Cutting of Trees, Tree Hearing and Damages, and MGL Chapter 40, Section 15C, and Section 250-24, the Bolton zoning bylaws, the Town of Bolton, Tree Warden, and Planning Board will hold a joint public hearing regarding an application from Bolton Hill Estates, LLC, for the proposed removal of approximately 30 feet of stone wall and 4 public shade trees. The shade trees include the following: 148-inch white pine, 125-inch oak tree, 121-inch oak tree, and 110-inch maple tree. Both projects will be heard on Wednesday, September 25th, 2024 at 7:10 p.m. and are located off a previously approved farm and open space planned residential development on South Bolton Road, assessing map 2C 23-4. The application and plans are available for review at the Town Hall, 663 Main Street, on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to 2:30, and Tuesday, 9 to 4, and also on the town website.
Yeah, thanks, Pam. I guess maybe Mark, do we want to start with the trees? Oh, we've got you here.
Sure. So the this hearing's been postponed numerous times. These trees fall right in the center line of the proposed roadway. All the trees are up elevated above the existing road, up on a bank, and then they're obviously need to go so that the construction of the road can happen.
Mhm.
A couple of them are quite sizable, but they fall right within the midst of the road itself, proposed road.
Yeah.
The Sonder that was having issues earlier with the iPad is I think the applicant.
That's right. Sander is the manager of the LLC. And he's also on the call right now.
Yeah, there's a picture of the trees, the larger pine tree to the left, multi-liter stem. 1 liters has been removed already, and it shows signs of rot. The other trees, right behind the small maple in the middle, is actually the proposed center line of the roadway.
Okay. I also looked at the trees, didn't have any concerns or questions about them. Anyone on the board have questions?
I don't know if this matters, but I'm on the notification mailing list for this, just a disclosure.
Oh, Mike, you are? Okay.
Yep.
So you're in a butter?
Apparently, I'm close by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you can just recuse yourself from the vote then. That's fine. Okay, anyone from the public have questions about the 4 trees slated for removal? Okay. We'll talk about the 30 feet of stone wall at this point, and then we'll vote on everything as one item. So does someone want to speak to the wall?
Good evening. This is Attorney John Blick. I'm sorry, I was waiting on another Zoom link that I had clicked on earlier, and it was just spinning, so I reconnected to this one. Didn't realize it was a different Zoom link. I believe is my client on the call?
John, we're all here. You can continue.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Right. Okay. So basically, this is a permit to take out a portion of the stone wall for the purpose of the access road, which has already been approved in the initial special permit process. So it's about 78.5 feet of area that will be disturbed to create that access road as shown on the plan.
Is it 30 feet or 78 feet?
I believe on the plan it shows 78 or 79 feet curb cut at the roadway, and then it flares back in, and then it looked like to me that there's about 30 feet of wall to be removed. Okay. And then it will be tapered on both sides.
I see. Right. So typically as an ask for any stone wall removal is that you rebuild the wall or sections of it on either side with the stones that were removed from the section. Is that part of your plans for this?
That certainly would be, I'd recommend that to my client if that's a condition that the board is going to require.
Yeah, we
Tip-
tend. I didn't get a good look at the. I can't. Is there a better picture of the wall that we have here, Pam?
I see.
Typically, that's what we request, is to have the stones that are removed to either repair or be used on the existing wall.
Okay.
And that wall was a pretty loose. When I took pictures of it a month or so ago, it was pretty loosely packed wall. So it would just be take those stones and kind of rebuild either side of the entrance where the wall continues.
Yes, that's no problem at all. We okay with that.
Okay.
Any questions from the board?
Now,
Any
as part of
questions?
this approval, I assume that we will specify and the applicant will indicate very specifically where those stones are going to go. Sounds like a loose commitment here. We'll use them somewhere.
No. The plan is the condition of this will be that the approval will be that the stones are used to bolster the remaining wall on either side of it.
We will keep the stones and reuse them to rebuild the wall on either side as you like. That's not an issue. Our goal here is to work as closely as possible with the town to maintain the historic nature of the wall. No problem.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Hearing none. Oh, sorry, Pam.
I'm sorry. It does show on the definitive plan that they'll bring the stone wall around the radius of the curve to the roadway.
It says dogs, coffee.
So the stone can be used to bring in the radius and bolster the wall that's remaining from there.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
Okay, if there's no other questions or comments, I will make a motion to close the joint public hearing, scenic road and public shade tree hearing for Bolton Hill Estates.
Second.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
James Barr,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Eric Nyland,
Aye.
and Michael Lau recused himself as an abutter.
I will make a motion to approve the removal of 4 public shade trees and 30 feet of stone wall on South Bolton Road, Bolton Hill Estates, with the condition that any stones removed from the wall be used to bolster the remaining wall or used as part of the ingress for the new curb cut.
Second.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
James Barr,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Eric Nyland.
Aye.
The motion passes 4-0.
So the next item is the special permit for a common driveway, servicing 4 single-family homes, lots 2, 3, 4, and 5, in the Bolton Hill Estates. So just for the board's knowledge and anyone else's, when we originally permitted this subdivision, one of the requirements was that they will at some point need a common driveway once they start building. This is the hearing to approve that common driveway. So we have reviewed this when we did the original special permit, but now we're holding the formal.
So presumably the road up to the circle would eventually be accepted by the town. or not?
Yes,
That's
it's
up to the applicant.
Yes. I believe that is the plan, is to have the cul-de-sac part accepted by the town, and then the shared driveway would go off of the cul-de-sac. So the cul-de-sac would be built to town standards for a public way.
that was the manner that it was filed and approved.
Yes.
Pam, you just want to review anything with the common driveway, or if the applicant has an architect or a surveyor that wants to talk about it?
The engineer's available if needed. I think that the plans are fairly self-explanatory, showing the required bump outs, turnarounds, signage that would be posted along the way. If there are specific questions for the engineer, I can get him onto the Zoom call very quickly.
I didn't have any specific issues. I think the stormwater calculation was already done as part of the original filing permit.
Correct.
Yet, it was. I did have Niche take a look at it. They were the original peer review consultant when the definitive subdivision was filed along with the Phosphord. And they did state that there was 3,300 additional square feet of impervious area added to the common driveway plan. Excuse me. And so they just asked that the applicant prove that they have capacity in the existing basin. It should sheet flow in there as originally designed and shouldn't have an impact on the stormwater system, but they just want that proven to ensure that it's adequate.
Well, maybe that would be something that I can get. Let me see if I can get the engineer to chime in.
I would be fine with recommending the board consider that as a condition.
It's fine.
It's a very
Okay.
minimal impervious area.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm just pulling, I did a draft set of conditions that I believe were forwarded to you, just having some computer problems. Was also included in the board's packet standard conditions that are comply with our common driveway bylaws. The applicant has submitted the easement documents, drafts of the deeds which reference the maintenance and operation agreements and the trust agreements. All are consistent with our common driveway requirements. So we just formalize them into this special permit approval. I did want to note that there is only 4 eligible members since Michael Lau is in a butter. So this will require a unanimous vote because the special permit is a supermajority of approval.
Okay, so Pam, we're just going to add one additional condition to this, which is to prove capacity for an additional, what was it 3,300 square feet, you said?
Yes, the applicant proved that the stormwater system is designed to accommodate an additional 3,300 square feet of additional impervious area.
Okay.
And have you, so Pam, I think you said you forwarded these conditions to the applicants already?
Yes.
Yep.
When did you do that? I have not seen those.
They were done last week. Probably Thursday or Friday. I'm happy to.
Yeah, if you could send those to me again, because I did not get them.
These are fairly straightforward, right, Pam?
Yeah,
I don't
there's
think
nothing unusual or
there's,
out of the realm of the
Okay.
bylaw.
yeah, there was nothing unique to this.
The first condition requires submittal of PE stamp plans.
Okay.
We received electronic copies that didn't have a stamp on the profile plan.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to me to review these, Mike. The The second condition relates to the recording of all the documents that were submitted in association with the common driveway, the declaration of trust, the drainage easements, that type of thing. And that they be recorded prior to the issuance of a building permit. There's a condition that you submit proof of that a stormwater pollution prevention plan was completed. That is in
Okay.
compliance with the approved plans. The common driveway and drainage structures must be built in substantial conformance with the approved plans. We have a provision in our common driveway regulations, which requires an as-built be submitted for the common driveway area prior to the issuance of the final building permit. So condition 5 relates to that. And condition 5 and 6 actually relate to that. And that the board approve that as-built plan within 60 days after submission. 7 is related to the 60 days after submission and how that is handled. And the board must vote that it complies with the approved plans prior to the issuance of the building permit. Question 8 is related to street numbers. 9 prohibits the addition of any further lots to utilize the common driveway. Um, 10 is related to providing the board notice that you start construction a minimum of 7 days prior to. 11 regulates your construction hours and activities, and those should be the same that were issued with your FASTBIRD approval and the special permit. And then these are profile conditions for the paving and construction of the common driveway related to the base coat, top coat, and gravel base. And then the last comment on 14 is related to erosion controls.
Okay.
So pretty basic.
Yep.
Okay. And so those 14 conditions plus the additional one about the additional impervious area.
Yes.
Does anyone on the board have questions about the common driveway? Does anyone from the public have questions about the common driveway? No. Hearing none, I will make a motion to close the public hearing for the special permit common driveway for Bolton Hill Estates.
Second.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
James Barr,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Eric Nyland.
Aye.
Great. Hearing's closed by a vote of 4-0.
And I will make a motion to approve the special permit for common driveway at Bolton Hill Estates.
Second.
Second.
With the conditions we just reviewed and the additional.
Sorry, so with the 14 conditions plus 15th regarding 3,300 square feet, approving the capacity for the stormwater system of the additional 3,300 square feet of impervious space.
Second.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
James Barr,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Eric Nyland.
Aye.
The special permit is approved by a vote of 4-0.
Hey, good luck, guys. I do apologize that this hearing was delayed from our last meeting. We had some technical difficulties, but
No.
appreciate your patience.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we appreciate it. And Pamela, could you just send me a draft of the copy of the conditions just so I can review those again? I didn't have any issues with them, but just so I have them, I can pass them on to my client. And we'll go from there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public meeting site plan review for the new high school at 12 Green Road. Hello, everyone. So Pam, where do we stand? I think we were waiting for a few responses.
At our last meeting, it was continued. There was some revised material submitted the day before the hearing. That didn't entail some comments related to the stormwater. That additional information was submitted on Monday, and along with the revised landscape plan, which had minimal revisions, which was submitted today. Our peer review consultant completed their review this afternoon, and it was forwarded to the applicant, but we do need and request additional time to create a list of conditions for the board to consider at the next meeting. There are issues that we'd like to have conditions related to construction of sidewalks along Main Street and sequences of construction and some erosion controls that we'd like to get input from various departments and make sure that we address all departments' concerns.
Okay, so there was some discussion about the sidewalk, and my understanding is that the sidewalk is going to run the full length of Main Street in front of the high school. Is that the case now?
It's going to run from the Main Street entrance that's to the west of the site to the Rotary, and then go across the Rotary and to crosswalk on Green Road.
It's not the entirety of the width of the site on Main Street. It stops at the western driveway.
Yeah, at the western driveway.
Yep.
And Pam, as far as the other items that were reviewed by Haley Ward, no major issues from those?
No, there are no major issues. I would suggest that peer reviews complete at this time. They've have some minimal comments remaining in their peer review letter. The second version of that was released today. I think Bethany is on the call. Yes, there she is.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Bethany. Any issues from your end, Bethany?
No, the applicant responded to all of our comments. I think there are just some very minor outstanding things that I still have included in the letter. But most of them are just sort of paperwork items. Would you like me to go through them?
If there's anything outstanding that you feel that we should be aware of, sure.
Let's say I think that they're all very minor. One is just we're looking for a statement regarding staff and personnel training and documentation that the stormwater BMPs will provide containment if there's a spill or discharge at the site. Another one that we had was just to confirm with the lighting plan that is dated from March, and just to confirm that the layout has not changed at all since that lighting plan was put together. Let's see. And the last one is just the beacons for the crosswalks and their impact on the traffic and impact study.
So the beacons weren't part of our project, and we weren't even aware of them until we got your report. We would have to get information from the town to provide that. I've requested the specifications, have not received them yet, so that we could examine what that is. I don't know. Brian Zamolka, our traffic engineer from Niche, is on the call also. I don't know, Brian, if you had any thoughts on these. I guess they're crossing lights, beacons, or whatever, like you said.
So yeah, they're exactly that. So they're basically, your typical crosswalk sign, except they have pedestrian push buttons and they flash. There are very typical for schools. I think, one of the, considerations was, would it be which part of the project would it be? Would it be part of the school or the roundabout? So, but yeah, those are pretty common. I think one of the things you'd have to determine if you want the hardwired one or the solar powered. Obviously, they both come with their pluses and minuses.
So is the
It's
question
not
who's
something we
responsible for
specify, though.
this?
Hmm?
No, the comment was really about whether or not the delay caused by those crossing beacons, the additional delay,
Oh, I see.
as opposed to someone just kind of scurrying across the street, if you would.
I see.
If that delay had been taken into account in the traffic impact study.
Oh, that's a very different question than I thought you said. Yes, it has.
Okay, thank you. Then I think that really satisfies all of the comments that we had on the plans. Unless there's any additional questions I can answer for you.
Not from me. So Pam, kind of what's left to do here is you want to put together an order of conditions from both planning board side and have it be in line also with Concom. Is that correct?
Yeah, Conservation Commission has been waiting on making a decision and closing their hearing until the peer review reports were satisfied. So I don't see any issues. But we do want to ensure that we incorporate conditions that coordinate DPW's project with this project and make it very clear what party is responsible for sidewalk construction where the projects overlap. And there are also some fire cistern issues, wells that we want to run by the fire chief and make sure all his concerns are satisfied in the conditions as well. And we'll distribute the draft of conditions well in advance to the board, the applicant and town staff for review and comment.
Pam, who is coordinating the whole traffic aspect of this thing? I hear that some elements of it are within the school, others are certainly within the DPW's purview, but how is that all being integrated to come up with a nice, consistent, collaborative solution?
Well, I know Randy's here from DPW. He's been meeting with the applicant and has their own traffic engineer associated with the Rotary project. And that's one of the reasons why we want additional time to create conditions so we can ensure that work is coordinated. I don't know if Randy, if you have any additional comments you'd like to add.
Yeah, couple of things. It is correct that the school is committed to constructing the sidewalks on the north side of 117 in front of their property. With regard to traffic management, I think maybe that is a question related to Bob. I don't know if his concern is the conflicts with school buses and vehicles, parent drop-offs and student driving there and stuff. I mean, we have a preliminary plan to try and adjust to accommodate that traffic flow. We are anticipating, with the help of the police department, that it will have to be massaged over time. We've made the contractor aware in our specifications that when school arrivals occur and when school releases, and to the greatest extent, and also put in as a condition that traffic flow is to remain open at all times. Back to the rapid flashing pedestrian beacons. I received a call from a representative of the school contractor. They're investigating putting in some kind of temporary flashing beacons to accommodate a crosswalk that they want to install for workers. I guess they've leased some property on the Chiodo property for construction workers of the school, and they're looking to install some type of crosswalk with flashing beacons as well. That would be some kind of temporary arrangement. we have asked myself and the chief, they're supposed to supply a plan to us where they want to have this crosswalk constructed and also where the flashing beacon is to be located. I have not, as of today, seen any kind of plans or anything. This request came to me a few weeks ago. I don't know if Eric or Joe Milani can elaborate on that or not. But
No,
Well, in the
that's
longer
Randy, that's
term,
being handled directly through Consigli. That we're not really dealing with that.
okay.
So it's
but
really a
in the longer
construction
term,
methods thing. I'm sorry.
no, in the longer term, pizza is a very attractive thing to high school students. And you have to cross 117 to get your pizza. And that's what concerns me in the much longer term.
Yeah, they do
Plan
now.
is
We
for
we
long
had
term.
we,
Yeah.
you know, we had discussions with the district and with the principal, specifically about uh, bikers and walkers to the school, and they said that typically there aren't any, basically because of the way the school is situated. They had a biker bicyclist, I should say, last year, and that was the only one that they've had in the tenure of the principal so far. And they do get kids crossing after school to go to the pizza place. They do that now. It'd be much better, obviously, to have some kind of a secure crosswalk to do that. As we all know, if you've ever tried to pull out onto Main Street and take a left during rush hour, it's one of the most, hazardous things you can try and do. I really don't know how the students cross the road right now, but certainly the temporary and the permanent, beacon would be a great thing for the students.
Okay, well, that you have articulated my concern very well. That really needs to be examined.
Well, no,
Yes,
Bob, that
but
is the plan.
when-
So they're going to install a temporary one for the construction workers, and I assume students and anyone else could use that while the work's being done.
Right.
But the long term is there will be a permanent flashing crosswalk there.
That is correct. That is correct.
Good.
And one quick follow-up. Are we expecting separate traffic analyses for the roundabout and the high school? Or is there, how do we know that they work together effectively?
So in our traffic study, we did a GDOT analysis for the roundabout. So how that would interact with the school, because the school will use it as a main driveway. So that's all folded into the traffic study for the school.
Got it, but it doesn't include the flashing light, I think is what I'm hearing from Haley Ward, right?
No, I think it does.
Well,
That was the question.
it's included in the GDOT analysis.
Yeah, our comment was just to confirm whether or not it was included because it wasn't immediately clear.
Got it. Okay, so everything's accounted for then, right?
Correct.
So where is that traffic analysis available?
It's on our website under the project information.
Okay,
We had
great. Thank
submitted
you.
it with the rest of the documentation.
Right.
I have also sent their traffic analysis to our engineers for them to take a look at as well, to see if there was any questions on the performance of the roundabout. I have not heard a definitive word back from Beta yet.
I mean, as part of this review, Haley Ward reviewed that traffic analysis, correct? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, they did. It was part of their scope of work, and there were a few comments on it as well.
So there shouldn't at this point be any major questions left from anyone. Like I said, I think the next step here prior to approval is for Pam to work with Randy and the fire and Concom and put together a list of conditions. And once we're all in agreement on those, that's our final approval. That's the path forward here, Pam?
Yes.
Okay. Is that agreeable to everyone?
Sure. Is the order conditions sort of combined between the Concom and planning board? Or are they
No, and
separate?
it's separate.
Okay. I thought that Mr. Gore was just saying they would
Oh,
combine
I
with
know
the
she
fire
wanted to.
department.
Yeah. Sorry. This would just be for the planning board's the
We're
site plan
we're
approval.
we're just gonna cross-reference our suggestions and ensure there's no conflicting information.
Okay.
Which we don't expect there to be, but we'd like some time to review those.
Yeah. And so, Pam, do you know about how much time you'll need to get that?
I suspect to have a draft out early next week.
Okay. And we would have our next meeting, I believe, is October 9th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully have it well before that. Everyone can review it and let us know questions in advance of that meeting. And it would be great if, Pam, you'll try to do your best to get that out as early as possible.
Yes.
Any questions on it, please get those back to us. Hopefully, not the day of our next meeting, but before that, so we have a chance to review them. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, and yes, if you have any questions for the design team, please feel free to reach out.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, at this point, everyone should be, the meeting should really just be to finalize everything and hopefully work everything out amongst ourselves between that, before that.
Very good.
Okay. So I will make a motion to continue the public meeting for site plan review of the new Neshoba Regional High School at 12 Green Road until October 9th.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Michael Gore,
Right.
James Barr,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Eric Nyland,
Aye.
Michael Lau.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. We'll see you all on October 9th. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.
Okay. We have next item is approval of minutes. So Pam, so I only saw May 22nd and June 26th in the
Yeah,
packet.
the July set wasn't finished in time to make the packet.
You got to work ChatGPT harder to do that. Okay. One person I know uses it's not ChatGPT, but it's some AI assistant to do all of his meeting minutes, and he loves it.
Yeah, it's good at document summarization. So
Yeah.
definitely use it.
Scary.
Right. So I'll do these one at a time, Pam. So I'll make a motion to approve planning board minutes from May 22nd, 2024.
Second.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
James Barr,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Michael Lau.
Aye.
Austin Groner and Eric Nyland were absent. Those minutes were approved by a vote of 4-0. The next is June 26th.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes, planning board meeting minutes from June 26th, 2024.
Aye. That's second. Sorry.
Jim, I have you as absent for that meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry then. Okay.
Second. Hopefully I was there.
Yes, you were. I have you as there. Yeah.
Good.
Michael Gore,
Aye.
Robert Romer,
Aye.
Austin Groner,
Aye.
and Michael Lau.
Aye.
Eric Nyland, I have you as absent as well. So those minutes are approved 4-0.
Okay. Any other business to discuss? Anything going on, Pam? New projects?
Just some upcoming things. The Master Plan Steering Committee, aka Bob, is doing a presentation to the Board of Selectmen, the Select Board tomorrow evening. After that, we're going to put it on the Planning Board's October 9th agenda for a vote of hopefully approval, and then we can send it off to the state as being on record as having an up-to-date and approved master plan for Bolton. Also, our open space and recreation plan has been updated, and it requires a vote of recommendation from the planning board as we submit it to the Department of Conservation Services for approval. So we'll be doing a presentation at the hopefully at the October 9th meeting. And I'll forward the document links for your review. We also have a video of a former public presentation that was conducted. And I have drafts of an ADU bylaw so we can comply with the new housing bond bill that we can start to review in anticipation of town meeting.
That's a full bylaw change, right? So did your review allow for the larger sizes? So separating them out into.
I did, and that's something we can change and obviously get your input on as we review the draft that I completed. I left our current regulations in place and just changed the definitions and took some of the by rights, added some by right things for the detached and eliminated the owner occupancy requirements so we can comply with the state regulations.
Perfect. So we should probably start thinking about what else we're going to be bringing to town meeting next year. So I think everyone seems to be in agreement that we'll try to bring back the cottage bylaw now that we have some buy-in from Randall Rent, and I think that we'll be able to present it a little more effectively to the town with a lot more examples of what we have even in this town and in other towns. I think we should be able to get that one through. I don't know if people have feelings, if we want to, last time we researched that bylaw, we brought in a kind of a cross section of people, builders, realtors, I don't know if people want to kind of go to that same length or just have the standard public hearing as we finalize it. I don't know, Eric, do you have any thoughts on it?
Not really right now. Oh geez.
Basement you can put your kids in.
Can I ask a
I have nothing to add right now.
Okay.
What's
that Austin?
What's the format of us presenting this to the town? Is it just up to us how we decide to present that, or is there kind of a standard way to bring it up?
Yep. So I mean, it's when they're like the ADU, the accessory dwelling unit bylaw change, for example, like we don't need to have a slideshow and anything fancy like that. We're just we'll get up, we'll read what that is, because it's very just changing a few things, tweaking a few things, and complying with state law. Where with the cottage overlay, because it's a bigger bylaw, it could lead to larger size developments. We want to be prepared with presentation, and I would think something like having pictures of what a similar development could look like if they use that bylaw.
Got it.
That, and just being armed with responses to any questions people might have. And we know last time we had a lot of questions around groundwater. So just being prepared for that. And so that's all at town meeting. The process is typically the planning board has a public hearing a month or 2 months, maybe 2 months before the town meeting, where we present it to anyone who wants to show up to one of our meetings, and we formally approve it at that point.
We do still have Randall for one more meeting. He's agreed to do.
Yeah. So I think once we finalize, like once we think what we have for kind of the final language of that bylaw, we can have him review it.
That makes sense. I think it sounds like I do agree we should prepare answers to the most common questions we think we're going to get. In fact, we should just write them out. Maybe we have a Q&A that we can prepare beforehand and either give it to people or, yeah.
Yeah, and that is part of the public meeting that planning board will have. So not a town meeting, but just in one of our regular meetings where will hopefully people can come and ask those questions at that point. But people never do, and then they wait till town meeting and ask them there. But yeah, we should try to be as proactive as possible.
And
Would
we
you
did
consider
also have,
putting,
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Pam.
I'm sorry. We also had some discussion about combining the phosphid and the cottage overlay into one bylaw. So we probably need to revisit each separately again and then decide a path to move forward.
Right.
Was that Randall's suggestion, was to combine them?
No, you
Yeah.
have,
Yeah. Certainly he's spoken to me. I'm not sure he's put it in writing.
I haven't discussed that with him, but we did have the discussion at a planning board meeting.
I mean, is that a easier sell or a harder sell if we were to combine it like that?
Well,
Well, I think
it has
you-
risks for sure, because if you present something in the cottage bylaw, which prevented it from passing last time, and then the proposal fails, you can end up jeopardizing the phosphid.
And
Jim,
the
do you have a
phos-
question, or do you have your hand up on the Zoom? Or is
Yeah.
it just, oh,
No, I do. Colonial Candy's property, is there anything that's moving on that, or do we know what's happening with that piece of property? Kind of, involves, I think, our conversation as well on what they want to do with it. I've heard a couple of different things, but does anyone have any idea what's going on with that?
still for sale last I heard.
mhm. I haven't
we
been
had-
contacted with questions or anything about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had that one gentleman maybe last year who
Right.
I had a phone call with, and then I think came to a meeting, but it fell under kind of car dealership rules, and so he couldn't do it anyway.
This was
Right,
like
right.
the heavy construction equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as we could amend the phosphid to Randall seemed in favor of smaller lot sizes, which I'm fine. I don't know if we go down, what's it, an acre in phosphid right now, if we went down smaller than that. So it wouldn't exactly be cottage the same. I mean, cottage overlay is a lot different than phosphid as far as I'm concerned, just because of what the structure of the buildings looks like. But I mean, I'm open for whatever. So, but I guess we don't need to go into any details tonight. The point was just to say, like, it's end of September. We should start within the next month thinking and reviewing about what we're going to do. I mean, Bob, as you guys are fresh off the master plan, was there, I assume part of what's going to come out of that is recommendations for bylaws. And so is there anything that you think, hey, this is a thing we should, prioritize and start looking at sooner rather than later?
Well, I think the ultimate goal really is to accommodate housing, but retain open space. And the way to do that is to, from my perspective, allow smaller lots with variable types of housing and preserve open space as best as we can. So it's basically a phosphid on steroids, maybe not on steroids.
Yeah, phosphid doesn't have any shared, septic and
No,
shared.
and those are the things that we have to consider.
Yeah, I think those
And
questions will come up. Yeah.
Yeah, and that means conversations with certainly the Board of Health to talk about that. Now, some of that has occurred already, but not to the extent that we would have to allow, I believe, in a sort of much more concentrated phosphor approach. Simply because you really can't accommodate water and sewer on very small lots. You would have to have not only shared, but shared on common land.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think we need to understand a whole lot better with our friends at the Board of Health and the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health in terms of precedent elsewhere, certainly in the region.
Okay.
And
But
just some
that's-
other bylaw changes that we're gonna have to consider. Our new floodplain maps are expected in 2025, and with that, we have to change our zoning bylaw floodplain section, so we'll be developing that and moving forward with a new model bylaw and map.
Is that a new bylaw or updating an existing one?
We have one, but it's
Yeah.
outdated. So the floodplain, FEMA has new standards they want communities to adopt. So we'd have to update our bylaw and then also include the new map reference once it's released. Hopefully it will be released in time for our annual town meeting.
Are they significant changes, do you think?
I'm not sure yet. The maps haven't been released. I'm actually going to a training on it tomorrow.
Okay.
Who releases those maps out of curiosity? Is that the state or is this a commission within the town?
It's the FEMA, and then DCR is kind of doing the local outreach and trainings for the program. The Department of Conservation and Recreation. So
and in addition to zoning, that's going to have a significant impact on flood insurance, is it not?
it can if the boundaries change significantly.
Yeah.
And my suspicion is that they would expand in lieu of diminishing, but just with the changing rain data, so it could have some impact on property value costs for homeowners in terms of their insurance.
Yeah. That's okay. My land is covered completely already, so.
So yeah, that's something we should be thinking about is well, what else we want to bring forward in the spring. So
just some things that I've noticed we've had kind of difficulty interpreting because of vagueness is our sign bylaw. It could use some additional details and criteria in it, and as well as the home occupations
we changed the
requirements.
sign bylaw a couple of years ago. Is there still issues with it?
Yeah, there's just no number restrictions, and it's not clear what you define a sign square footage as. So if it's oddly shaped or the base of it, there's just some interpretation issues that we can clarify in the bylaw.
But that's still within the purview of the select board, right?
It is,
but
yes.
it's a zone, but it's a zoning, they approve it, but it's a zoning bylaw.
Right.
So that
Correct.
we make changes to it. And we're not trying to take the approval of sign from them, right?
I didn't have that conversation with the town administrator. I don't know that she's brought it to the select board yet.
Yeah.
For discussion or even a desire to alter their authority over that.
It's like
where does that stand in other towns around us?
Most towns honestly have a bylaw with design criteria, and if you adhere to the designs, you get issued the permit for your sign without a public review.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I've mostly seen. And then if you request any sort of waivers or variances from those requirements, then obviously you would go to the public hearing forum.
Okay. Well, Pam, keep us, if there's other things you think are coming or we need to do, just keep us updated on that.
Yeah, I think it would be good to the select board's been waiving their authority over site plans and special permits and assigning it to the planning board. So it'd be good just to solidify that and change it in the bylaw just to save time so we don't have to wait for public hearings and the votes.
Yep.
For planning board review. And last I spoke with the town administrator, it seems like they didn't really have a great interest in keeping that authority. So we'll approach it
They
again
always,
and then,
yeah, send it to us anyway. So
yeah,
why go through that formality?
it's unusual for them to have authority over those types of permits.
I mean, I think that stemmed from before there was a planning board, right? They had that authority, and for whatever reason, they never delegated it over.
Yeah, I'm not certain.
Okay. Anything else that people want to discuss? No?
Just as
Okay.
an FYI, we're also working on updating our hazard mitigation plan through the town. So that's just there's a draft online on the Department of Public Works web page that identifies areas that are subject to natural disasters and how the town would deal with them, and identifying existing plans and what things in areas that need to be approved. So it identifies culverts that are subject to flooding, roadways, and fire hazards, that type of thing. So the town departments have been working on updating that, and it should be completed by the new year.
Is that going to be a full list of every culvert in town as part of that?
No, not
All
every culvert.
1,000 of them?
It's a list of the ones that flood and are of major
Okay.
concern. Yeah.
Boy, I was amazed at the width of that culvert on Forbush Mill, 16 feet. Wow.
16 feet. But they said that's to comply with whatever I guess that's a Concom, or not Concom, but DCR or whoever's.
Yeah, it's a Wetlands Rivers Protection Act regulation.
Yeah.
It's a stream crossing standard.
The water on that, that runs down Forbush Mill, I mean, you'll see that really, really strong sometimes. So I'm not surprised. Okay. Anything else? No. If not, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second. I'm not sure if I can second.
Yeah.
All those signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
Have a
Thank
good night,
you.
everyone, and we will see you on October 9th for the next meeting.
All right, good night.
All right.
Good
Bye,
night.
Thank you.
everyone. Thanks, Pam.
Have a good night.
You too.